Dear friends, good morning to all. This is your RAPETI Suryanarayana advocate from Vizag. In the earlier sessions, I gave many lectures. All the lectures with regard to various topics are useful and helpful, important to the practicing advocates, law students, and also to the students who are appearing for judicial competitive semester exams, and also to the students who are appearing for other competitive exams. Those topics are also helpful to the general public with regard to legal awareness. In the previous session, I gave a lecture with regard to what I mean by offense and limitation with regard to offenses, and also I gave a lecture about when the limitation begins with regard to offense for filing a complaint or case in a court of law. In the similar manner, I gave a lecture with regard to exclusion of time or excluding the time in limitation period with regard to an offense for filing a complaint in court of law with regard to offense committed. I hope all the topics understood to you all. In this session, I would like to give lecture with regard to day excluded in calculating or computing the period of limitation for filing a complaint or case in court of law with regard to offense committed. Let us go to the topic, where the period of limitation with regard to an offense for filing a complaint expires on the day when the court is closed. Then what the party have to do? When the period of limitation expires on the day, on the date only the court is closed, the court is not working, then what we have to do? The limitation period ends or expires on the date. On that date only court is closed. We have to file within the expiry of limitation period for filing a complaint in a court of law. But on the expiry date of limitation for filing a complaint in court of law, if the court is closed, then what will takes place? Let us see in this session. If the period of limitation for filing a complaint or case with regard to an offense committed, that limitation expires on the date, and on the date, if the court is closed, then the court may take cognizance of that case or complaint with regard to the offence committed on the date the court reopens. When the court reopens, on the date the court will take cognizance of that complaint or case with regard to the offence committed. Why? Because the limitation period expires on the date when the court was closed. On the expiry date, the court was closed. So, the court may take cognizance of the offence or case or complaint on the reopen date. When the court reopens, on the date the court may take cognizance or consider the case or complaint with regard to an offence committed. Here, when the court shall be deemed to be closed, I said that if the period of limitation expires on a date, on that date, if the court is closed, then court may take cognizance on the next reopen date. Okay, that is okay. Then, how we consider that court is closed? In what occasion the court shall be deemed as closed? Let us see. If during court normal working hours, if during court's normal working hours the court remains closed, then the court shall be deemed to be closed on that date. I hope it is clear. When the court shall be deemed to be closed, if the court's normal working hours, if the court's normal working hours, the court remains closed, then the court shall be deemed to be closed on that date. I hope it is clear to all. That means, when the court remains closed on the court's normal working hours, then it shall be deemed as closed. So, if the period of limitation expires on the date on which the court closed, then the court may take cognizance of the complaint or case on the next reopening date. When the court reopens next, on the date, the court may take cognizance of the offence. Why? Because on the date of expiry of period of limitation, the court remains closed. Here, we have discussed about when the court shall be deemed to be closed, and also on the expiry of period of limitation, the court remains closed. Then on the reopen date of the close, then the reopen date of the court may take cognizance of the complaint or case with regard to offence committed. I hope it is clear to all. Next, in computing the period of limitation for filing a complaint or case in a court of law, then the date from which computing takes place. In computing the period of limitation, the date from which calculating is to be takes place, that date shall be excluded. That means in calculating the period of limitation or in computing the period of limitation, date from which is to be calculated, the date from which is to be computed shall be excluded. That means the first day is to be excluded. I hope it is clear. For calculating purpose, there is a first date. The day from which is to be calculated shall be excluded. That means the first day which is taken into consideration for the calculating or computing purpose, that day shall be excluded in calculating period of limitation for filing a complaint in a court of law with regard to offence committed. I hope this topic is clear to all. With regard to on the day of expiry of period of limitation, if the court closed, then the court may take cognizance on the reopened date. The court shall be deemed to be closed if courts during its normal hours remains closed. Then it shall be deemed to be closed. In computing the period of limitation, the day from which is to be computed shall be excluded in calculating period of limitation for filing a complaint or case in a court of law with regard to an offence committed. This is a very important topic in computing the period of limitation for filing a complaint or case in a court of law with regard to an offence committed. In the previous session, I gave a lecture with regard to limitations for filing a complaint with regard to various offences. In the same way, I gave a lectures with regard to exclusion of time in calculating period of limitation for filing a complaint or case in a court of law. Now I said about with regard to date or day on which the period of limitation expires due to court closed, then there is an option that the court may take cognizance or consider your complaint on the reopened date. This is about day excluded in calculating period of limitation with regard to offence committed. Thanks a lot. Thank you a lot. Kindly share my videos, like my videos and subscribe my channel. Thank you a lot. Thank you.